Ali calls heads. And heads is Ali winning the toss. What do you think is a par score for this format?
Thank you.
Steven, would you have batted if you had won the toss?
No, it was feeling.
Really? What do you think that is?
It's a local game, so I want to back it as early as possible and try to win the game as possible.
Okay, good luck, man.
Thank you.
Now we need squad. We need squad that's playing 11. These mics are playing 11 with the numbers and batting order.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the show-off is about to begin between Freedom Fighters and ARC. ARC winning the toss and electing to bat. The Freedom Fighters will try to chase him down. ARC led by Ali Chaudhary and Freedom Fighters led by Mr. Stephen Taylor. Should be a good time. A lot of good talent playing in both teams. Some local, some foreign. But let's hope to see a good competitive match. Freedom Fighters are on the field, led by Stephen Taylor. We have Elmore Hutchinson, a current USA player. Nicholas Purin is part of the Freedom Fighters. He's a CPL player for the Barbados Tridents. Also has played West Indies under-19. He also played for Islamabad in the PSL and Mumbai Indians in the IPL. We have Fahad Babar, the opening batsman for the USA cricket team. And the one and only Nikita Miller from Jamaica. Talawaz, Akil Hussain from Barbados Tridents. Carlitos Lopez, he's a running express machine. Brian Trooper Gill, John Campbell from Jamaica, Cheyenne Jahangir from Pakistan, and Odean Brown from Jamaica as well. And for the ARCs, we have Ali Chaudhary. And we have Haris Imtiaz, Zayad Imtiaz, Sohaib Chaudhary, Bashir Iqbal, Arif Hokla, Ahmad Bakshi, Zohad Hussain, Uzair Ali, Ayas Patel, and Rizwan Ahmad. We hope to see a good game. Let the games begin.
It is my request that the speakers stay on because we're gonna have good time.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm good. Thank you. It wasn't fired.
No, that's fine. Leave it on now. Just don't say anything while the game is going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially
Okay.
this area. No background noise.
All right, you guys take over. Sit down.
Yep. चल आजा बाहर. Let's go.
Sorry, मेरे भाई.
अबे यार तुम लोग मुझे मत मारोगे यार. Can you turn off the mics for like 2 minutes?
Two local prominent talents in Zayad Imtiaz and Zohad opening for ARC.
Elmore Tabol worked on the leg side for a single.
So, Amr, despite the lack of foreign talent, I believe that ARC has a lot of experience, tried and true talent locally. Having Ziad having played for the USA, they should be able to put up a good fight. What do you reckon?
Definitely, definitely. The talent's all there, as well as the experience. But again, you have to look at it, international caliber players on the other side. But it's going to be a very tough fight.
I agreed.
Zohad on strike. Beaten for pace. As you can see, Elmore, tall, lanky, bowler, is generating the pace as well as the bounce because of his height.
Yeah, I from this view, it appeared to be something that could have been given as a wide, slightly down the leg side, but it was definitely bowled within the body, and
Oh,
good bounce.
good bounce. Again, I think Elmore has picked up on Zohad's weakness. Short balls on the offside. Zohad seems a little intimidated.
Yeah, good start this by Elmore, having perhaps seen how things transpired in the first game of the tournament. Short balls have been pretty effective. Another short delivery on the offside.
Great start
Zohad.
to the game. Great over by Elmore. Only one coming off of that. 1-0 at the end of one.
ARC's skipper, having been a seasoned player, would have learned quite a bit from the first game in terms of setting an expectation with his batters to set up an on-par score for this batting-friendly condition in this particular tournament. And I reckon that he would be looking at getting his batters post up a good score on the board for his bowlers to come back and do the job.
Now, being a seasoned team, I think they're going to take their time, get their eye in, and then go for the big shots rather than what we saw in the first game. Right off the first ball, you're going for those big shots. I think you need to settle your eyes and post a big score.
An incredibly wide delivery. It was absolutely short and has been given as a wide. Actually, a no ball, so that results in a free hit delivery, an opportunity for ARC to go at it wildly without risking a wicket, except for the run out, of course. I'm a rookie. Here it goes, free hit.
Wide ball.
Down the leg side, comfortably wide. Free hit continues.
I was surprised at Ziad's approach to that delivery, knowing it's a free hit. He's known to be a big hitter of the ball. He was pretty defensive at that.
I agree. He's a very strong onside player. Calito is completely changing the line and bowling offside the off stump. And Ziad failing to make a connect. Dot delivery played by Ziad defensively on the back foot. Back down to the short mid on.
The bowlers so far seem to be very disciplined.
Yeah, subdued start from a batting display perspective. Dabbed it down by Ziad onto the short square leg region for a single.
Oh, this is smart cricket. You have to rotate the strike, get the scoreboard turning, and then go for the loose deliveries.
I agree, Amr. Too often what we have seen is the in pursuit of larger scores in T20 format, particularly, teams often tend to lose too many wickets in the first 7 to 8 overs, and conventional wisdom is the other way around. Another short delivery, getting the batsman on the back foot.
And again, Kalitos has picked up on the weakness of the batter of the short balls from the first over from continuing from Elmore's spell. Kalitos has picked up on that short delivery that Zohad has been struggling with.
Hoik down to the fine leg region, a little bit of square of the wicket for a single, and the throw doesn't get backed up, and they actually run for the second run.
There seems to be a little confusion between the batsmen, not calling for the second run.
Yeah, given the infancy of the innings, these two ought to be able to communicate much better at this stage and not fall prey to runouts.
And beautifully picked up by Zohad. He's very confident, and that is a 4. Great shot over point by Zohad to end the over. ARC 10 for nothing at the end of the second over.
Effective runs nonetheless from his body stance. He appeared to go to the onside, but ended up actually hoiking it over to the point region. Nonetheless, effective runs, 2 overs gone. ARC 10 for no loss. I spoke so much in the last game, and it was like, and he's like, one for the shot. It takes like 30 minutes. Okay.
Elmore to continue.
What's good about these mics is they don't pick up any background noises. Buddy's giving it a feel little. It's really, it picks up when you're in the flow of things.
Cut away. The call was for 2, but Ziad said no.
You know, almost Kyrie on ARC. They're like buds. So we're gonna rip on them a little bit. Just make sure that you know that.
I think Elmore is going to go again to the short ball delivery, knowing Zohad's weakness from the first over. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, Amir, you have seen Zohad play a lot more than I have. He's certainly an aggressive top order batsman. However, his reluctance to go against and taking on the bowler for the short delivery is kind of standing out, given that it really hasn't been that long in this inning, barely 2.2 into the innings. Maybe he's waiting to time the ball properly, but it appears to me that the bowlers have sort of worked it out, haven't they?
I think they have. I think they've done their homework on certain batsmen that they have taken into account and made sure that they did their homework on.
Another short delivery by Elmore to Zohad. A heave and a miss. Checking his shot, Zohad. The timing didn't work out.
The key is for them to stay in the wicket, to stay in the middle and preserve their wicket, so their batsmen down the line, down towards the end of the innings, can go for a big score.
Good single down to the gully region by Zohad.
You know, I wonder, since Elmore has a game plan against Zohad, I wonder what kind of a game plan he's thought up of for Ziad. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, Ziad has been predominantly very strong player on the onside, given what I have seen him through different teams and regions in the last few years. He hasn't faced as much. Short stuff continues by Elmore. This one particularly was against Zehad, who is 3 off of 9.
I think the batsmen need to stay patient. I think they need to take a look at the bad deliveries and capitalize on them. I think what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to rush it.
Smart single down to the third man by Zayad. I agree, Amir. Too often in this particular aggressive format, batsmen and the batting first team gets into the rut of just trying to hoik every single delivery out of the ground, and that often backfires. So really, the top 3 ought to be able to get in and get some stability for middle order to come in and fire between that 5 and 15, and then some pinch hitters to come and finish the last 5.
3 off the over for Elmore, 13 for nothing, ARC. Zohad dabs it down. And that was close, but they make it in for 2.
Yeah, these two are actually quite capable runners between the wicket based on what I have seen, and pretty agile. They ought to be able to keep in mind the fact that if they stay there until 8th, 9th over, they can totally make it big. Short arm jab down to the fine leg for no run. This was actually a very good delivery into the body line, a short delivery. Ziad at the last moment ends up swaying away from it because it was a very, very good delivery.
It was a no ball. Front foot, no ball. That's a free hit that's coming up for Ziad. I think he's going to go for it. He's going to capitalize on this opportunity because runs have been very tough to come by in this very young innings. Ziad flicks it on the leg side for an easy 2.
Good hustle by ARC, despite the fact of them not being able to get away with big shots in initial first few overs. Amir, as much as you have seen Ziad and Zohad play, I reckon that you know that once these guys get their sights in, they're able to time the ball very fine.
They're natural hitters of the ball. Once they get going, they get going. And then there's rarely anything that can stop them. But again, it's key for them to get their eye in.
Another short delivery, a heave and a miss. Again, Amr, I continue to get impressed of the pace and the bounce this AstroTurf is delivering. A game and a half almost, and the most effective length is short ball on this surface. I don't know why batsmen are so struggling against it.
And given a kiss off of the gloves on the leg side, easily taken by the keeper. Ziad Imtiaz out for 8 off of 15 balls.
A rather early breakthrough for freedom fighters against ARC, having broken through the opening partnership against formidable Ziad Imtiaz for a mere 8 off of 15.
Ironically, another Imtiaz has stepped into the field. The elder brother, Haris Imtiaz, walks in.
Yeah, I've been thoroughly impressed with the elder brother batting display, average and technique and temperament. Certainly in for the cause for ARC. Very much a capable top order batsman that can guide through his team.
But I've also been very impressed by the Freedom Fighters bowler so far. Very disciplined, picking up on the weaknesses of the batsman and capitalizing on it. And again, Haris Imtiaz feels for the ball, unable to connect. At the end of the 4th over, 18 for 1, ARC.
A rather slow start by ARC, but in this particular format, if you actually get to bank on the number of wickets you have available in hand, you can totally capitalize on that in the latter part of the game. But based on the first game, we haven't obviously seen that to be the case. I reckon that the bowling display in the first few overs has completely been on point. Hasn't really allowed the batsmen to free their hands.
Elmore to continue. And again, utilizing that short length against Zohad. Again, Zohad needs to figure out a way to get a run or two.
The effective display of the short ball for most part of the day in this day one of the Liberty Cup continues. Batsmen really haven't been able to time their pull and hooks off of the short delivery, which is quite amazing. Really? Really? I hear you. I hear you. Another heave and a miss.
Another heave and a miss. Again, utilization of the short ball by Elmore. Zohad has no answer to that. And another.
Consecutive deliveries of short balls, extremely effective and delivering the dot balls. Now, Amir, I would be inclined to give the batsmen the discount, but the fact of the matter is they have played their most careers on AstroTurf. This isn't something extremely surprising to them in terms of the bounce.
You're right, but I feel that Zohad is more of a hitter that wants to go for his big shots rather than work it for a single. And Elmore has capitalized on that weakness of Zohad's. So you have to give credit to where credit is due.
I agreed. It's also worth mentioning the adaptation to the length and the line that he's being bowled upon in terms of him adjusting or shuffling across not even a tidy bit. His stance has been pretty stagnant.
It has. It has. I think he's not utilizing his front foot, getting to the pitch of the ball, to the line of the ball, and trying to work it for a single, rather than, again, his mentality as being a big hitter, known as a big hitter in the Midwest area. That's what he's sticking to. I think something needs to change today.
Agreed. Both of these batsmen are reputable and they've got a lot of stats behind them in several different leagues in this region. But credit must be given where it's due for freedom fighters, bowlers, to stick to the right line and length and making it severely complicated for ARC to get going. In this particular format, 5 overs gone for the 18 and the loss of 1 is actually quite under par.
It is, but you have to take into account that they're only down 1 wicket. They have plenty of overs to work and build on this score that they have currently. New bowlers being introduced. Shayan Jangir to Haris Imtiaz. I saw a hint of movement. What do you think, Rick?
It certainly did. Hint of a movement from the pitch of the ball towards the outswing, and Harris, being a reputable competitor, middle order batsman, rightly left it.
And what a shot. What a shot by Haris Imtiaz for 4 over point. That's one of Haris Imtiaz's strengths, is over point on the offside. He's very strong in that area. And he's going to need to get going today if they're going to build on a big score.
Another beautiful cover drive. Slows down towards the end of the fence because of the outfield slowness, but it was timed to perfection by Haris Imtiaz.
And the experience of Haris Imtiaz is coming into play right now. Giving what the bowler is giving you and working with that. And again, on the offside for a single.
I agree, Amir. Given what we have seen in the first game today, do you feel that the outfield has slightly slowed down because of the fact that it's obviously much drier and warmer, as opposed to it having rain last few days? And this morning we saw a lot of purchase out of these drives.
Dryness of the field should actually help the ball go a little bit faster. But again, we're talking about the Midwest. We're talking about the thickness of the grass. And again, there we go. Zohad goes for the big hit, and it's taken. Easily taken. And ARC down another wicket.
A very comfortable take on the long off. ARC currently at 25 for one loss, two rather, at the end of the 5 overs. Sixth. Typically, the drier outfield makes the shots faster, but it's kind of died down. 3 shot में देख चुका हूँ जो यहाँ रुक रहे हैं, fans को रुक रहे हैं. It was different this morning. Okay.
If we look at the scorecard for ARC, Ziad Imtiaz out for 8, Zohad for 7. Both played 16 balls.
Amr, this is a long batting lineup though. They bat deep, down through the 8, based on what I have seen and learned.
Freedom Fighters, as you can take a look at it. Elmore Hutchinson with unbelievable figures. 3 overs, 1 maiden, 4 runs for an economy of 1.33. In this format of the game, that is unbelievable figures.
Cheyenne to bold his first over and a very good finish. A heave and a miss.
Nikita Miller, CPL player, a Caribbean from LA, coming on to bowl. Looks like he's putting in a slip. New batsman, putting him under pressure. The batsman is Bashir Iqbal, another big hitter of the ball. Let's see if he's able to get the scoreboard ticking.
Dabbed it down to the first slip for no run.
Cut away. And that's going to be an easy single. Again, they need to build on these innings. They need to rotate the strike, get what's given to them, and then utilize on the bad balls.
Attempted cut down to the third land. Nikita Miller showing his exposure and experience into the international, from the international T20 leagues.
A little bit uppish over point for an easy single again. I really do think that these two batsmen in right now currently at the crease are very experienced, very seasoned cricketers. They're going to pace their innings.
Another dot delivery, an attempted hoik to the mid wicket, no connect. I agree, Amir. They're two down. They've had a rather slow start, but they're seasoned players.
And he goes right straight down the field and for a 4.
Into the side screen. Typically, the most effective shot of all around cricket is to be able to play the bowler above his head straight down the ground into the side screen, because typically there's no fielder, and he gets maximum purchase out of that shot.
At the end of 7 overs, 31 for 2 ARC. And a beautiful shot for a 6. Again, one of the strengths for Haris Imtiaz is that off shot, playing it over the head of the fielder, utilizing the bad delivery, and scoring off of it.
Impressive indeed. Sort of an inside out, not an easy shot to play. Dabs it down to the short fine leg for a single. Perfect follow-up of having striked a 6 into the long off.
And that's what you're supposed to do. You follow up a big stroke with a single. Good follow-up by Cheyenne. Fuller in length, almost Yorker, but well played by Bashir Iqbal.
Indeed, he dug it out.
Oh, there was a chance there for Cheyenne, but too fast for a single down off. This has been a productive over for ARC, scoring 8 off of 4 deliveries. And again, a beautiful delivery by Cheyenne. And well played by Haris Imtiaz.
Amir, quite an impressive display from Freedom bowlers in terms of keeping their length and line intact. You look at the last ball, that wasn't easy to play a big shot on.
It was not. Oh, beautiful shot right down the middle for a 4 by Bashir Iqbal. They seem to be working their way into the crease, setting their eye and going for their shots.
It was quite impressive. And this is kind of a statement from these local boys against some of the top international names that this is our turf. We have been playing here for the last 15 years, and we know the conditions.
But you have to give respect where respect is due. These are the international big dogs. Let's not be biased, Rick. Let's not be biased.
I'm glad this mic is so amazing. I got no background noise but that. Certainly not biased. I'm just trying to give the credit where it's due.
Nikita to continue. Starts off with a very well bowled delivery. Oh, and a slip by the fielder. But no damage done, only for a single. That patch in the field seems to be a trouble area for the fielders. What do you think?
It has been. It's interesting that the short mid-on region has been
Beautifully picked up and taken. Unfortunately, it was well played, but didn't have the muscle behind it.
Bashir gone for 10 off of 7, trying to uptick the scorecard. Like my partner Amr said, there wasn't enough power on that pull, and it was easily, comfortably taken at the square leg region.
I think Ayaz Patel.
The incoming? Okay, introduce him.
I think it's Ayaz. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think that's Ayaz.
According to what Amr thinks.
Ayaz Patel. Ayaz Patel. Looks like Ayaz Patel has stepped into the field. He likes to work the ball around all over the field. He's more of a singles than a doubles.
Speak with that. Mind you,
But again, you have to give it to the bowler. Nikita, he's a CPL player that plays for Jamaica, who has been the best spinner in CPL.
he has that.
Picks up his first wicket. And to continue, Haris Imtiaz taking his guard. I think he might be having a change of plans with that wicket going down. What do you think, Rick?
Yes, rather unfortunate for ARC to have not been able to get off to an aggressive and a fast start in this particular format, but they still got 7 wickets in hand.
And a misfield, given the opportunity to ARC to pick up another single. I think this is what ARC needs to do for the next couple of overs at least. Get as many runs as they can without taking any risk.
Pulled into the mid-wicket region only for a single. It was straight down to the fielder's throat. I agree, Amr. Given the losses, the upfront losses that the ARC has had, they ought to be able to build onto this partnership at least until 13th, 14th over before they get cut loose. But again, given how the conditions worked out in the first game of the Cup, they are probably reluctant to not actually hold back until too late to attempt to do the pinch hitting.
I agree. I agree. Steven Taylor comes into the attack, captain, taking the charge. Again, Rick, I want to mention Liberty Medical, Pepsi, and Gatorade for sponsoring this beautiful tournament. Powered by Cricket Clubs. Correction, this is Brown coming into bowl, not Steven Taylor.
Tenth over.
A good start by Brown.
Subdued start by ARC.
It is, but you have to look in the middle and be proactive. And again, while you say that, Haris Imtiaz answers your question and says, here's a 4 in your face.
A really, really good inside-out cover drive for a 4, and that speaks volume of Haris Imtiaz's experience.
It does. A dab down. Haris wanted a single, but called off by Ayaz. I like the pace that Haris Imtiaz is working with. 21 off of 18. Seems to be set in. An eye in. Odin to continue. And a big heave into covers, but only for a single.
It's a reprehensive display from ARC without a doubt that they had to have that for the need of the moment, but I reckon it won't be enough if they continue to go down to this run rate against Freedom Fighters.
Looking for 2. Are they going to come back? No. Called off by Ayaz, and a good call.
Great throw, Amir.
It is,
right
again.
on top of the off stumps.
It is. You have to look at these players that train 12 months out of the year. This is their profession. This is what they do.
Fielding display at best.
And what a shot. Haris Imtiaz pulls it away for a 4. Beautifully done. At the end of 10, ARC 58 for 3.
Now, Amir, granted that you and I have had a lot of exposure to the ARC's players, if they post a respectable total, they should be able to defend it.
And again, if you look at the scorecard, Haris Imtiaz is going at 26 for 20. He's going at more than a run of ball. 58 for 3 at the end of 10. I think they're setting themselves up for a big score.
Agreed. If anything, they ought to be able to exceed the first innings batting display and be able to go past the 1 or 2.
Nikita to continue. I was trying to work the ball on the offside. Unfortunately, straight to the fielder.
Good line and length from Nikita. Just dabbed it down to the short mid-off region for a single.
A change in the field, bringing a fine leg in. Within the 30-yard circle, Nikita to continue. And again, over point. Beautifully played. The fielder cuts it off at the boundary and 2 runs.
Effective runs for ARC.
I really like how Haris Imtiaz is pacing his innings, working the ball all over the field, keeping the scoreboard ticking. I think that's what all the batsmen that come into this game need to learn. Again, seasoned veteran doing what he does best. And again, there he picks it off. Oh, that was very well stopped, but unfortunately, let's see what the umpire calls it. And the fielder has given it a 6.
It was very well timed, right into the throat of the mid-wicket region. And this is one of the regions that Haris Imtiaz is very strong in. Luckily for him, it didn't get caught.
It didn't, but you have to give credit to the fielder on mid-wicket. Very well played, very well, he timed his dive, but unfortunately it was just well hit. And again, he goes for another one straight to the fielder.
Mid-wicket region by Ayaz.
Worked on the leg side by Ayaz for a single. And that's the over, a productive over for ARC. 11 coming off the over. 69 for 3 at the end of 11.
Yeah, given the first game's number, ARC ought to be able to feed a little bit better in terms of where they are with the run rate and given what they have consumed so far. Granted that they do not lose consecutive wickets in the last 9 overs they have on hand, they ought to be able to put a respectable total on the scoreboard, and they've got some effective bowlers to be able to defend it. So this, like I said at the beginning of the game, should be a very interesting contest.
It's all about pacing the game, looking at when you're going to take the risks, when you're going to take that chance. And I think ARC has put themselves in that position to go ahead and start slogging towards the end of the innings. Odin to continue. And again, the discipline for the Freedom Fighters shows on point with their line and length.
Very close to the body of the batsman. Didn't really allow him to the room to steal a single.
And he's taking a risk at it. The fielder's coming underneath. And taken. What a beautiful catch. It swirled in the air a little bit, but beautifully held by the fielder over on mid-wicket. I think that was Fahad. Another one of Midwest's pride.
Very well taken. It's not ever easy for a shot to have the ball swirling up in the air for so long before it lands in the fielder's hand. And the judgment, ought to be really respectable. This was a really well taken catch down at the long on by the fielder. on. Mid wicket वहाँ पे होता. Mid wicket right there, bro. Mid wicket वहाँ पे होता. यार long on यहाँ पे है. I got two people watching.
वो जो आप मुझे दिखा रहे थे ना कल, all the areas, वो निकाल के रखो यहाँ.
He was right there behind these two people. I couldn't see him.
Uzair really walks into the middle.
Was that Eli? You heard that?
You know, again, Uzair is another one of the big hitters in the local leagues. Let's see what if he's able to provide the support that Haris Imtiaz requires.
3 minutes. I'm not skipping. Yeah, I just won 3 minutes, bitch.
Odin to continue. And again, worked over a little bit upish for a single. Rick, what do you think is going to be the projected score, or what do you think is going to be a fighting score?
Based on the first game of the event, I have to say that anything less than 140 is not quite defendable.
ARC does have some strong bowlers on their end as well. Two very qualified spinners, as well as some pace.
I have to agree. Having been subject to the experience from Ziyad, Ali, and Arif, they have some effective bowling.
And again, there he goes. He pulls it. Unfortunately, it was only good enough for a single as the fielder cuts it off. One more delivery to go for Odin. 2 off the over so far. Is
Very
ARC
effective bowling display. up
It
front.
has been very economical. And what a beautiful shot straight down over the side screen. Beautifully hit for 6.
Time to perfection. Beautiful shot over the bowler's head, straight down to the ground. Had to be at least 80 meters, and it was pleasing to watch. As a result, ARC at 77 for the loss of 4 wickets at the end of the 12th over.
Worked on the onside for a single by Uzair Ali. Nikita into his 4th over. Haris Imtiaz tries to heave it over long off, but unfortunately was only able to manage a single as that got undercut to the leg.
Very effective bowling display from the Freedom Fighters bowling unit, restricting ARC at 80 for 4 towards the end of the 13 over. Well-timed shots in the covers.
Into the air again. One of his favorite shots over off. into the covers, but unfortunately that was only good enough for a single. Again, worked on the offside by Ozerali for a single. Picking up singles. Every single ball in this over. Taking what the bowler is giving them. Being methodical in their approach. Looks like Haris Imtiaz is frustrated with that delivery, as he thought he could have taken that over the bowler's head. At the end of the 13th over, ARC is 82 for 4.
An extremely disciplined bowling from Freedom Fighters against ARC. At the end of the 13th over, keeping them at 82 for 4. ARC has to make a full use of the last 7 overs, and they got 6 wickets in hand, and they do have some decent hitters of the ball.
John Campbell being introduced into the bowling attack from the Caribbeans. Again, Freedom Fighters stacked in their lineup. Oh, and heaved. What a beautiful shot. Oh, and beautifully done at mid-wicket. Saved 5 runs right there. Beautiful effort by Cheyenne out in mid-wicket.
Well fielded indeed. Amir, I'm beginning to see the intent from the ARC's batters. A little bit of shimmy down the track. They realized that they only got 6 overs left after this to be able to post a respectable total on board.
I concur with you, Rick. 6 overs with 6 wickets in hand. I think this is the time where they need to start beginning the onslaught. ARC with another single. I do love the fact that they're not missing any opportunity to put the runs on the board. Taking a single at least off of every ball is very productive. And beautifully struck. And that's 6 from Haris Imtiaz, and that brings up his 50. Well played, Haris Imtiaz, steering ARC to a defendable total. 51 off of 30 by Haris Imtiaz.
Outshone his younger brother.
And there he goes again. Is this going to be taken? And that's another 6. Haris has started the onslaught. Back-to-back 6s. The intent is clear. ARC are starting the onslaught.
Beautifully lofted. I love this intent in the latter part of the innings from Haris Imtiaz.
And another one. Is this? Oh, was that taken? There's a controversy. The leg umpire is deciding, and he has been given. Wonderfully taken at the boundary by Cheyenne, and that comes to the end of Haris Imtiaz's stay at the wicket.
Wonderful inning. 57 off of 31. It was timed to perfection. Straight into the throat of the square leg. He did not have to move much. Umpires had to check a little bit on the boundary and the location of the fielder, but it was comfortably given as out.
I believe that's Arif Hokla walking into the middle. A veteran of the game, Arif Hokla is.
44 years old. 42 years old.
Rick, I must tell you something. Arif Hokla has coached me in the cricket, the little cricket that I've played. He is a teacher of the game, a veteran in this field.
Indeed, he is absolutely a veteran, an amazing reader of the game, a soft-spoken, yet an amazing mind when it comes to the game of the cricket.
He knows his cricket. He knows the game. He loves the game. Even in this age, he's out there giving it 150%.
He's only 32 years old.
I must have been mistaken. But in fact, what
You're
is
pardoned.
true is he's a veteran of the game.
Yes. Short mid wicket for no score.
John Campbell has changed the ends. I'm sorry, that's Calitos. The
Short
freedom
of
fight.
length.
Rick, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think the freedom fighters are going in for the kill right now. I think they feel they've got the upper hand. They got the man in form. I think they're going in for the kill.
Indeed. At the same time, they know the local players' talent and their exposure and experience. They feel that if they let them get to.
What a shot by Uzair Ali. He worked it, flicked it. Uzair is calling for a no ball. Unfortunately, it was only given as one for the over. But what a wonderful shot.
That reminds me of Shoaib Malik, I'm not going to lie. A very cheeky, a wide and high delivery. Played it down to the third man, all the way for a six.
Uzair has the talent and the capabilities to lead this team to a big total. But will he do that? Let's see if he's got the patience to lead them through. Leg by is given. That was a good comeback by Calitos.
I mean, ARC has a very reputable bowling unit. I reckon that they would feel that if they get 130 on the board, they'll have something to bowl against.
Mr. Hokla on strike. And again, he goes for a big heave, but came up short.
Number 5 is open.
Yeah.
Hogla has been, Arif has been a very good timer of the ball.
Kalito Sabo, his last ball. And what a delivery.
Middle stumps out of the ground.
What a delivery. Yorker cleans up Mr. Hokla. And that ends the over on a high note. ARC 104 for 6.
Amir, given the situation, that shot from Arif was completely uncalled for. Given the loss of the wickets that they had, Arif should have been slightly more patient.
Rizwan Ahmed is walking into the field.
Not when I have my mic on the table. I've learned this because I had the thing on my ear.
5 overs left in ARC's innings.
I felt it. I felt it. I totally felt it.
He walked a couple of steps.
I totally felt it.
उसने वो जो पहला भी रोका था वो भी आई थिंक छक्का था लेकिन
रिजवान आ गया? नहीं आया यहाँ पे। यहाँ पे क्यों नहीं आया रिजवान? यो, रिजवान यहाँ पे क्यों नहीं आया? अच्छा आएगा।
We have the opportunity to talk to ARC opening batsman Ziad Ahmed walking in. Let's ask Ziad.
At the end of the inning, I'm going to speak to you. With the wireless mic. Yeah, I will.
Ziad,
I will.
can you please give us some comments?
nobody's there. Nobody's
Well
there.
played.
Boundary away.
Well played.
Good running, boys. Good running.
If you can hear the passion and the enthusiasm that Ziad is displaying for his team is beautiful. Ziad, what do you think is a good score for you guys to defend given the conditions and given the day?
Pulled into the mid-wicket region. They run 1 and they run 2.
Ziad, can you comment on my question, please?
I think the good score to defend is going to be 170, 175, but anything less than that is going to be a difficult task to defend, I think. But we're looking at 170, and we have good ballers, which can bring us the game home, and we're deciding to win this game for the team.
Looking at the current situation that you're currently facing, do you think you guys are going to be able to hit that desired mark of the 170 runs that you're looking for?
Speaking on behalf of Ziad, having seen Rizzy's stroke making, I believe he has in him what is required of the latter part of the T20 innings.
Popped it up over the wicketkeeper's head, and he trips. Rizwan Ahmed tripped and was only able to get a single.
Amir, I have been subject to witnessing an amazing pinch hitting from Rizwan at the end of the latter part of the inning.
Indeed. I believe Rizwan needs to play a supporting role in this relationship that both Uzair and Rizwan have currently. Rizwan, Uzair is the man in. He's seen deliveries. He's played 15 balls currently. I think Rizwan needs to rotate the strike and get Uzair on strike.
I agree. At number 8, Rizwan ought to be able to play the innings that is required of him. Uzair has been good with the strike rate, doing 18 off of 15, but ARC absolutely at the time of the moment needs someone to get fired up.
ARC needs to go at 10 and over to achieve 151. 4 overs left. What Ziad Imtiaz stated that 170 is going to need at least 14 to 15 and over. Uzair works it on the leg side for a single.
Despite the regular characteristics from the outfield, the dried outfield has actually slowed down the scoring. I'm Rick. Nice to meet you.
He's somewhere. We're trying to do the best we can.
Were you? Okay. Good work. Thank you.
Just keep going down past the thing.
The container. You'll see me here. Jenia from New Zealand. He was supposed to be.
Third delivery from Kalitos coming up.
Amr and I were supposed
Uzair facing.
He missed his slice that night.
And he's popped it up. It's just going to be taken, easily taken, a long off by Cheyenne.
An untimely loss of wicket for ARC. Just when they were looking to peak and being able to score freely. वो बात सही है क्योंकि मेरा स्पीकर जाइड हो गया मैंने वो चार्ज नहीं किया ना for last 1 hour
Somebody log into YouTube and listen.
कोई तो सुने यार उमर भाई please I don't want to speak for nothing.
The captain is walking in currently, Ali Chaudhry.
Yeah. Thank you. सही है मगर आवाज तो बात आए ना यहाँ पे.
आवाज सेट जा रही है
Ali Chaudhry.
सेंसिटिविटी कितनी है यानी
हाँ.
कोई आके कुछ बोल रहा है कुछ ना
वो बात सही है मगर ये these mics are amazing क्योंकि मैंने रख के गाली बकी है कोई किसी को नहीं पता.
Ali Chaudhry explaining the situation to Rizwan Ahmad, letting him know what he expects out of his pinch hitter.
ये speaker these mics are freaking amazing bro. Ali is in. Speak highly of. Yeah. मुंह के पास लेके किसी का पीछे कोई भी बात है कुछ भी नहीं है. And this guy is okay because the guy before you from Incredible.
16.3 overs completed. 113 for 7. Carlitos Lopez to continue. Well played. Rizwan showed the straight face of the bat right over the umpire's head. I hope the umpire is okay.
Rizwan being an extremely strong on and straight player, I reckon that he would be able to see his team through.
Ali Chaudhry, captain, on strike. Works it on the offside for a single.
Very seasoned skipper in Ali that ARC has. 16.5 at the run rate of 6.83. And let me tell you, this is higher run rate than the previous game at this stage of the game. That's what the commentators do.
Worked on the leg side. And what beautifully worked by Rizwan Ahmad for a boundary to end the over. 119 for 7, 17 overs.
Beautifully timed. A boundary on a square leg from Rizwan Ahmad. Despite the strong batting lineup of Freedom Fighters in Fahad, Babar, and co., I have to believe that ARC is going to be in it if they bowl the last 3 overs right and try to score as much as they can for their bowlers to come back at Freedom and defend it.
There's a hint of turn right there, Rick. Akil coming in for his second over. A hint of turn. Is Ali Chaudhary going to be able to deal with that? And that was given out, beautifully stumped by the keeper. Wickets are falling at a regular interval. ARC is really going to need to pick up the scoring to post a competitive score for the Freedom Fighters. Obviously, they have a lot of international talent on their roster. The discipline that they've shown in the field is going to translate as well into their batting lineup.
I agree. Given what we have seen in the first game of the Cup, currently where ARC is at is slightly ahead of what Combine did in last game rather. And they got 3 overs to go to make the most out of posting a respectable total on the board for their bowlers to come back and defend it. And I repeat, ARC does have some really effective bowlers. I used to play with Flames. Half the players of ARC is Flames. You know Flames? Yeah. Ali Chaudhary, Ali Ogla, Ziyad Band, Shoaib Khan, exactly. I couldn't believe that Shoaib Khan played it back to the bowler. Speak right now.
Sohaib Chaudhary coming in to take his guard. 119 for 8, 17.2 overs completed. Sohaib needs to give support to Rizwan Ahmed. Quick single taken, and again, we see that patch where the new turf wicket's going to be built, causing problems for the fielders.
Absolutely. The batters have had their way in last 10-15 years in this region because of the AstroTurf, and this is about to change with BPL turf wickets.
Rizwan Ahmed going for the heave, but did not connect.
These mics are so amazing. I can be like this.
Again, looks like the fielders are a little bit hesitant to get into that patch where the turf wicket's being built in. Could there be an injury that's possibly on their mind?
That's a good point, Amr. I don't think that turf score has any injury-prone regions, but certainly something on top of their minds.
Sohaib Chaudhary wanted to take a single, but denied by Rizwan Ahmed. 18 overs completed. ARC 121 for 8.
So, Amr, 12 deliveries to go, and Rizwan, being a seasoned middle order and, in fact, oftentimes a top order batsman, is the guy that I'm counting upon in being able to come up and actually hit a couple out of the park. Sohaib being one of the most effective fast bowlers that I have seen in the last few years should not be counted upon and being able to score out of the park.
And I think that's what they're discussing. They're standing in the middle of the pitch, talking about a game plan, coming up with a game plan. And I think Rizwan has spoken and informed Sohaib to give him as much of a strike as possible so he can go at it. I believe Hutchinson is being brought back into the attack to get rid of Rizwan Ahmed if he's able to do, but a good tactic on Stephen Taylor's part.
Agreed.
Big hitter in Rizwan Ahmed against Hutchinson in his last over.
Pivotal moment.
Oh,
Slightly
beautifully.
short delivery. Placed it down to the third man.
That was a gully. Beautifully fielded by the fielder there. Again, the discipline, the training, the dedication shows on the freedom fighters' part. Sohaib good goes for the big hit, but misses. And I think what Sohaib Chaudhary needs to do is get Rizwan on strike. Rizwan's been in the middle for a little bit longer than what Sohaib has been. It's
100%.
important.
Is a prolific hitter of the ball. Another try
Beaten
and
for
miss.
pace.
Beaten for pace. I
Beaten
have
for
to say.
pace.
This is where experience counts. Elmore has been bowling wider of the stump, shorter, understanding that the batter is not going to be able to get away with it.
And I do love the part that BPL is exposing these local players to the international quality of cricket and giving them that experience that can only help cricket in Chicagoland area. And that was fine edge down to third man for a boundary. Much needed for ARC. Sohaib off the mark.
Effective runs from ARC, and I have to agree for BPL, this is nothing but positive, getting the local talent exposed to the international top players and being able to gauge the pressure and be able to build the temperament against the best.
Again, I want to give a big shout out to Liberty Medical, Pepsi, Gatorade for being the sponsors, as well as Crick Club for providing us the opportunity to witness this and present this to everybody or all around the world. And that was a catch. Unfortunately, Sohaib's inning comes to an end. ARC down 9 wickets at 126.
Yeah, in retrospect, this is an unfortunate thing for Rizwan, who's been able to strike the ball formidably, yet he hasn't been able to be given the strike that he would want in the last 3 overs of the innings, given what he has done. Last wicket of ARC on strike.
Rizwan defends it. Ahmed Bakshi walks into the crease with 1 over left. Is Ahmed going to be able to do something?
126 for 9 ARC, 6 deliveries to go for them to be able to get to some respectable total against the Freedom Fighters. Again, given the first game, they have done better considering the expectation against the big talent that they had stacked up against them.
Akil to bowl. Ahmad Bakshi with a big hit. And there's a fielder coming underneath and taken. Fahad Babar takes the catch with ease and ends the innings for ARC. 127 to win for Freedom Fighters.
Thank you.
I can tell you some stuff about New Zealand. That might be what you learn.
127 to win for the Freedom Fighters. Taking a look at the ARC scorecard, Haris Imtiaz again with a beautifully played 57 off of 32 deliveries. Uzair played a good supporting part, but was unable to continue on into his innings. Again, 127 to win for ARC. Let's take a look at their bowling figures. And again, beautifully bowled by the Freedom Fighters. Elmore Hutchinson, the pick of the bowlers. 4 overs, a maiden, only 9 runs given with a wicket. But again, the economy, Rick, is very good.
International exposure is shining.
Carlitos with the 3 wickets. Going at a 6.75 running over. John was a little bit expensive on 15 and off of the only over that he bowled. But again, he was able to pick up a wicket.
And Amr, if you notice, Freedom Fighters skipper definitely went slightly out of the conventional, and he had brought on players that wouldn't be expected to be bowling. Look at the bowling scorecard. He played 7 bowlers.
And again, that's experience, that's exposure, that's given his players a chance, and that's a veteran captain. Again, Freedom Fighters have a very deep lineup. 127 to win. Freedom Fighters continuing ball by ball commentary in just a little bit. Thank you, Liberty Medical Center.
Check 1 2 3. Check 1 2 3.
Testing. Hello. Yeah, definitely.
Just थोड़ा बहुत फोन के पास
इनसे कर रहे हैं अली से, फिर उसके बाद दूसरे से कर कॉल। इनसे कर ले, फिर उनसे कर ले, ये इनसे कर रहे हैं इंटरव्यू। रेडी है? 3 2 1 go. Ready?
We'd like to welcome Ali Chaudhry, captain of ARC, to have a little discussion on the performance of his team in the batting aspect. Ali, what do you have to say?
Well, that's not the score we expected to put it on, but I think it's a very fighting total. 127. I think we can easily defend it. But once again, that's not what we had in our mind. But 127, is a good score. Cricket by chance. I think we have the bowling potential to defend this. I think it's going to be a really good game.
What do you have to say about Haris Imtiaz's performance? Again, being the top-notch player that he is, how important was his innings today?
Well, very important. As you can see, he's the highest run scorer in the team. He played fantastically. He played some really good shots. I think it was because of him we were able to put down 127 on the scoreboard. Their bowling was pretty good, but he was able to maneuver his innings right according to the situation of the game, and it was a pretty good inning.
Okay. So, who do you think is going to be very important on your bowling lineup to get you the wickets that you're going to be required? Because again, you're against international quality players, players that have played for CPL, players that have played for under-19 Pakistan. What's your strategy going to be? Who's going to be your pick of the bowlers?
Well, our strategy is not going to change. We came here to play cricket. It would have been, they are a good team, but we're going to play like we usually play cricket. I think Sohaib and Ziyad are going to play a key role in the bowling unit, but we have other bowlers, that can also take part into it. The goal is to get, go attack them, get some early wickets, and put the pressure back on them.
So when you walk right back into the team huddle, what are you going to tell them?
Well, nothing special. I mean, we don't need to tell them anything special. I think this is, we're just going to stick to the basics. We're just going to play some good cricket. The goal is to, win the game, but cricket by chance, we're gonna do our best. And, thank you for the BPL to giving us the opportunity to play in this fantastic ground. Thank you, Mir Ali. Yeah, you didn't tell me to mention your name, but I'm still doing it. Anyways, it's going to be a good game.
All right, best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. One, two, three. Check. 1 2 3. 30 seconds. Give me a clue. Thank you, Stephen, for your time. How satisfied are you of restricting ARC in 120s?
I'm very satisfied with it. A couple of guys are new to the AstroTurf, so it's a learning experience for them. So looking to come better to the next game.
Have most of your guys been subject to the real turf in the international cricket?
Yeah, most of the guys here on the team plays on the turf, so coming to play on the actual turf is going to be something.
Who are you counting on your top bowlers to be able to make the initial attacks against the ARC batting unit?
All our bowlers are world-class bowlers, even up to Elmore, who plays for the United States, and he's a damn good bowler himself, so all our bowlers just have to do their job and just get the wickets.
Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you.
The next interviews, I want you guys to use the VPL background. I'll move that turn out of the way. We'll do that, so that's in the background. Yes, sir? You doing good?
Omer bhai, thank you. We'll take a quick break.
Thank you.
Yeah, not the
Welcome back for the second innings. Freedom Fighters requiring 127 for victory here over ARC. I'm sure they'll be pretty confident at the break, having restricted ARC to 126 all out, 19.1 overs. The batsmen are out in the middle already. We've got Fahad Barber to take straight to the first ball and John Campbell at the non-striker's end. Harris Imtiaz with the ball in hand. Right arm medium quick bowler. So we have a deep point in place and a long off at this stage. So here we go, second innings underway. And full delivery, just bunted down the ground for a single. Something we've become accustomed to with Fahad Barber's batting is his good rotation of the strike. He runs well between wickets. Probably hasn't batted with John Campbell before. If he has, it wouldn't have been too many times. So they'll be hoping to get their communication going early. And that was certainly a good start. So John Campbell, of course, left-handed batsman, yellow helmet. Another full pitch delivery, and again just bunted into the offside this time, and another well taken single. So run rate required is just over 6.5 from the outset. So singles will get them pretty close. I'm sure at some stage we'll see more than singles though. Again, full delivery, played back down the pitch, no run.
Yeah, it's going. Wait, why is it at 19.2? You haven't updated it. There's something, it's not right. He's doing it here, that's good. It's not over here. Over there.
Short this time, looking to pull, and he's gone. He's picked up the man at mid-wicket. So he got into position early. Perhaps the ball was a little bit slower than he thought. Got it high on the bat, and he's picked out the man at mid-wicket. And the short innings of Fahad Barber, unfortunately for all his fans, this is his local hometown, of course. Don't get to see him bat for too long. Here's out for one. Just the 3 deliveries faced. And an early blow for ARC. When you're defending 126, you really do need to take wickets early. So that's the perfect start for them. But unfortunately, we know that Freedom Fighters have a pretty stacked batting lineup. You lose one US player and in walks another. Skipper Stephen Taylor, the big man, striding out to the middle to join John Campbell. So 2 left-handers in the middle now. And we know that Stephen Taylor generally doesn't mess around when he's out in the middle. He'll look to play his shots. I'm sure all of these teams are aware that not only are they chasing victories, but net run rate perhaps could be important later on in the tournament. So if these guys can chase down this total in as fewer overs as possible, then it does their net run rate no harm. But the loss of an early wicket, perhaps a little dent in their plans. Imtiaz, the successful bowler. And just as I said it, first ball, Taylor goes downtown, dead straight for a Liberty Cup maximum. Beautiful shot, just playing through the line of the delivery. Complete faith in the trueness of the surface. And it is a beautiful artificial wicket, so he has every right to just play through the line. And not a bad way to get off the mark. So 1 ball left in the first over of the chase, 8 for 1. This time Played into the covers for a single, and oh, Taylor had pretty much given up there. I think a direct hit would have had him caught short, but good throw from cover. Just misses the stumps and he survives. So 9 for 1 at the end of one. And Rick, what do ARC have to do here to defend 126?
Thank you, Jamie. Welcome. It's really nice to have a professional commentator in our commentary box. It has been an amazing...
Please don't say that. Too much pressure.
Day one of the Liberty Cup. We have been having a blast. First game was fun. Second game being a game that we ought to know a lot of local players against a lot of stacked up foreign players. Freedom Fighters on the fly, 1 over, 9 per over in average at 6.21 run rate.
So it looks like there's going to be quick bowlers from both ends. Ahmad Bakshi at the far end.
It says hottest and tails right there. Okay.
Tall right arm. At least I think he's right arm over the wicket. Right arm fast, I'm being told. Not medium fast, just fast. Just fast. But thanks for having me, Rick. I've been following you guys while I've been sitting in airport lounges for most of the day. You guys have been doing a fantastic job.
Nice.
So thanks for keeping the seat warm for me. It's going to be fun. Down the leg side this time. And it is signalled wide, so the first extra of the chase. That takes the score to double figures, 10 for 1. I was going to say without loss, but of course Fahad Baba, the local hero, dismissed in the first over. Very disappointing for the local fans.
Indeed, and Jamie, as harsh as it sounds, extras in this format are completely unwarranted for.
You really don't want to get me talking about the need not to bowl extras, because I will go on about it for hours and hours. I don't think they are ever required, to be fair. But you're right, in the short format you can't afford them. You also can't afford long hops, because that is what happens. You get planted over mid-wicket for a boundary, and Stephen Taylor doesn't need any second invitation. In his short innings to date, he's already hit 1-6 and 1-4. He moves to 11. He could have been run out, of course, but he lives dangerously, and so far he's doing a job for his side.
Not when he's bowling. Uncalled for.
This time, decent delivery. Some nice bounce in this pitch. Something for the fast bowlers. And on the outer half of the bat, he gets a run down to third man.
So Jamie, granted that you've been sort of keeping up with what has transpired on day one and game and a half, given what we have seen, batsmen have been rather reluctant to go against a short ball, and the last delivery was actually rather played very comfortably by Stephen.
Well, he's an international player, so I guess he's used to all sorts of bowling. He would have faced plenty of short pitch stuff in the Caribbean, I'm sure. This time, there will be no run into the thigh of John Campbell. So yeah, there's certainly plenty of bounce in this pitch, and I guess that's a weapon for the faster bowlers out there that they can use. I'll be interested to hear from you guys how many of the wickets that have fallen to date have come from bounces or short pitch deliveries. Obviously the first one here in this innings was from a shorter pitch delivery. Short, off the gloves, so perhaps beaten for pace. He'll come back for 2.
Coming back to the point you made, Jamie, I don't have the statistics to be able to tell you what has transpired of the short balls, but my general inclination has been that batsmen have been rather extremely uncomfortable against the short deliveries.
Well, to be fair, it's something that batsmen all around the world struggle with. We still see it at the highest levels of the sport where certain players can get found out by short, fast pitch bowling. This time, pitching up, driving is Campbell. He won't beat mid-off, though. But they do jog through for a single. The men at mid-off and mid-on are very deep. So there's always a single on offer unless you absolutely blast it at them. And at this stage, run rate required is exactly 6. So singles is all they need.
Absolutely, and nothing to do with my bias against my local team that I have often played with, Jamie. The team that is the opponent of Freedom Fighter has got some amazing slower paced bowlers.
Well, I'm sure they'll be into the attack sooner rather than later. Pitching up again, and that's right into Taylor's arc, and he goes downtown for the second time. That's onto the baseball field. That's gone a long way. It didn't even sound like it came right out of the middle, so he's probably got another 20 or 30 metres further he could go if he really wants to give it everything. That looked all too easy from the US captain. And he moves on to 18 off just 5 deliveries. The total 24 for 1 at the end of 2.
Welcome, Jamie. Who knows about Michael Atherton or Ian Bishop or Shivi Ramakrishna? It's good to have you in here.
Thank you. So they've taken 1 wicket, but you get the feeling that to have any chance of winning this game, ARC need to take a further 9. If they bowl anywhere near their full allotment of 20 overs, I think it would take a minor miracle for them to come out on top here. They probably need to bowl Freedom Fighters out in under 15 overs, I would have thought.
Agreed. Containment is not an option in this particular contest.
Imtiaz to continue, the successful bowler so far. It'll be interesting to see if he tries to use that short ball as a weapon in this over. Short outside off, and that's been slashed away. Slightly heavier outfield on that side of the ground, so they'll just come back for 2. Taylor forgetting to take his bat, perhaps thinking he was playing baseball for a minute there. Short again, and again onto the batsman a little bit quicker than perhaps he thought. Campbell looking a little bit uncomfortable. Certainly didn't get it out of the middle of the bat, but safe enough in the end. He gets a single.
Nonetheless, a comfortable pull off of a short delivery based on what we have seen for the most part of the day so far.
Full. Taylor just using the angles to get a single. Almost looked like he was toying with the field on that occasion. Wasn't in his big hitting arc, so he just decided he'd run it off behind point for a single. Sure, he'll be looking to bat long for his team. Plenty of runs on offer. Driving again is Campbell, but there's a man stationed in front of us at long on, and he does the fielding comfortably enough. Prevents any more than a single. Score ticking up towards 30, 29 for one. Couple of deliveries left in the third over, and that run rate required is going down all the time. It's dipped down below 6 now, 5.65. So as you were saying, Rick, containment is just not an option. They have to take wickets. Oh, ouch.
Beautiful pull over the mid-wicket.
Yeah, that was a beautiful pull, and that's the risk when you're looking to try and take wickets with the short ball. If you don't get it quite right, you can get absolutely hammered, and that was nothing more than a long hop. The bouncer earlier in the over to Campbell was, I'd say, a yard quicker than that one. It also got up a little bit higher and took Campbell by surprise, but that one just sat up and basically wrote a letter to Taylor, and that letter said, please hit me over mid-wicket for 6. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, most bowlers would on their day think that the batsmen are uncomfortable against the short balls, but every now and then they get up against the batters that are so comfortably hooking and pulling.
Wow. The other thing that you can't afford to do is put down chances against batsmen of this quality, and that is what you would call a sitter. It's gone straight to the man at point. It was a long hop again. It deserved to be smashed for runs, but he's picked out the man at point who has shelled.
A dolly indeed. Unfortunate for the fielder, Zohad, being able to not catch it. When you are up against defending that total, you gotta make those chances count. Unfortunate for ARC to have not been able to make it.
Although as someone who played cricket for many years, not to any great high standard, but let's be honest, no catch is ever easy, but you should take those ones pretty much at any level of the game. So Stephen Taylor with his second life. He could have been run out off his second or third ball, and now he's had a catch go down. But he continues to bat on. 26 off just 8 deliveries now. Striking at, wow, just short of 300 really, about 260. And there's the first bowling change.
So Jamie, I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. For the record, this perhaps is the guy that is the paciest that ARC has to offer.
So another quick bowler, which is interesting. He said they're stacked with plenty of slow bowling options, and I wonder if that may be worth a go here. Obviously the Pacers are going for plenty of runs at this stage. But perhaps the left arm variation might cause a few extra problems for the batsman.
Brother of the skipper.
So 91 further runs required from 17 overs. Captain Taylor on strike. And he just knocks it around the corner for another single.
And tape tennis, Sohaib is unplayable. You know what tape tennis is, right, Jamie?
Certainly do.
For sure.
Someone throw him a tape tennis ball. See if the batsman notice. They'll notice when it swings about a metre.
Right, meter, absolutely.
Good delivery this time, right up in the block hole. Nothing that Campbell could do but keep it out. So there's been enough signs from these bowlers that they've got the ability to trouble the batsman. But unfortunately, in amongst the good deliveries, there's been too many long hops, too many freebies. And that's why, despite taking the early wicket, they're still under the pump. Another good ball here. right in what we would term the corridor of uncertainty. Do I go forward? Do I go back? Do I play it? Do I leave it? In the end, he defended it comfortably enough.
Jamie, despite the bowlers being up on the defensive end, if you bowl the right length and the line, even in the shortest format of the game, you're allowed to be able to get back in the game.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. This time short. Campbell's got onto this one. And it looks like it may pull up short. It has pulled up short. And they've just jogged through for a couple. So plenty of wide open spaces on this ground. Magic field, I've got to say. Mir Ali and the team have done a sensational job of, I guess, making this dream become a reality. I feel like I'm at home in New Zealand. This is like a cricket field that we would have in New Zealand or perhaps in England. Not Australia. There's no snakes and dingoes and crocodiles running around, so it can't be Australia.
Kangaroos.
Yeah, kangaroos hopping across the field.
Yeah, despite us taking it for granted, we do recognize the fact that we do have something special locally to us in what's about to become perhaps the potential for the international cricket on the U.S. arena.
Yeah, it's definitely special. And he's mistimed another one, but I think it's going to fall safe. Yeah, falls short of the man in the deep. He'll just get the single. Perhaps a suggestion from some in the commentary booth that the fielder could have made a bit more of an effort to get there. But it looked to me like it was always going to fall short. But let me tell you, Rick, if you feel like you guys are taking this field for granted, come to New York and see the fields there, and that will wipe away you taking it for granted, because the fields there are awful. So you have an absolute gem here.
From a level perspective or the distance perspective, because we're looking at about 70 meters.
Both.
Both, okay. Very interesting.
The cricket fields in New York, we wouldn't play rugby on in New Zealand. They're that bad. Sorry, New York, but you all know it's true, for those of you who are watching.
That's hilarious. Okay, so one more delivery to go for Suhaib, okay?
Looking to use his feet this time, Taylor. He'll get another couple through mid-wicket, which will end what was a pretty good over from Suhaib. Nothing came out of the middle of the bat, you'd have to say, which suggests he caused a few problems for the batsman, but still 6 runs came from it. And at the end of 4, 42 for 1, Freedom Fighters cruising at this stage.
Absolutely, given the contest and having been exposed to the situations that I have played with Suhaib, he has been generally the go-to guy. And given at the pace that the Freedom Fighters were going at, this was certainly a slow and dull over against him.
It's hard for us to tell from here, but having played with him and against him, can you tell me what's his stock delivery? Does he tend to swing it into the right-handers, away from the left-handers?
Typically away from right-handers.
Interesting.
He bowls barefoot without the shoes, with tape tennis.
In New Zealand, we basically go barefoot 300 days a year, so he's a man after my own heart.
Hottest imtiaz in the attack. Yeah. Those are at 10 and a half.
If they get smacked at 20, then okay, bring him back. But so Imtiaz continues, short ball, and it's going to be another slightly false shot that avoids the field. John Campbell, I don't think he's hit one out of the middle of the bat yet, but he continues to find the gaps, which is just as important, I guess. Another single. He moves on to 12.
Once again, we have a long way to go in this 3.5 days remaining of the tournament, but this particular batting unit has been rather comfortable against the short bowling that I have seen all day today.
Pitched up this time. That's a good delivery. Pretty much in the block hole. Taylor unable to really free those big arms of his. And this is the challenge for Imtiaz. He's bowled some very good deliveries in his spell to date, but he tends to follow those up with a couple of rubbish deliveries just quietly. So can he maintain the discipline? Short, punished. And that'll be another maximum. The second it pitched halfway down the track, you knew exactly where it was headed. And I don't know if Taylor's in his head, but he seems to be bowling good bounces to Campbell and not so good to Taylor. Perhaps the US captain is in his head a little bit.
Jamie, spare a thought for Steven trusting the bounce and being able to time that pull so comfortably.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's an indication of how nicely this pitch is playing. But you're right, also, I guess some of the experience that Steven has had all around the world playing in different conditions. He's quickly able to assess the surface and go, okay, I've seen how this played while we bowled. I can trust it when I bat. If it's short, I'm going onto the back foot and I'm going to whack it. This time over the infield on the offside. Hasn't timed it, but he's certainly got enough on it to beat the infield. And they'll jog back for 3. Rick, I think you were saying that this is a 70-metre boundary or 70 yards?
Minimally 70 metre.
Which is pretty big by US standards, which is nice. Make the players run for once. Also means you get value for your shots if you hit the gaps, particularly with an outfield, which is as nice as this one. Again, finding the gap in the offside is Campbell this time. They'll come back for another couple. So at this stage, it's just all a little bit too easy for the freedom fighters.
Absolutely. The common notion, despite the common notion of this game becoming incredibly fast, batting-friendly game, the fields in U.S. have been not so friendly in terms of the outfield fastness, and BPL has certainly been on top of their game in terms of making sure that batsmen have been able to get the purchase out of the good drives that they play down the ground.
Well, it's great. It encourages good batsmanship. MTR is trying something different around the wicket. Is there a fielder there? No, there is not. And it's another 6. So he tried something different, went around the wicket to Taylor. To Campbell this time. Looking to cramp him for room. But unfortunately, as we can see there, some of the fans in attendance. Fantastic place to watch the cricket there in the shade. And that's at about mid-wicket from a left-hander's perspective. Some of the other players and some of the teams sitting there as well, enjoying the batting of Campbell and Taylor, who are well on top at this stage, 60 for 1 after 5. This match might be over in a hurry unless freedom fighters can pull off something special here.
And Jamie, this particular format doesn't really allow too much for the error in terms of the number of games allowed into being able to make to the semis. However, we have seen teams being able to make a comeback at this stage of the game. Freedom fighters requiring merely 67 off of 15 at the run rate of 4.5.
Well, that's why those of us who are cricket fans love this game so much it's never over until the last wicket or the last run is scored. As Taylor this time will not get a run into the leg side. Sohaib to continue. But you're right, anything can happen. Momentum is a funny thing. If ARC can get a wicket or two somehow, even if it's by a mistake from the batsman, then perhaps momentum can swing and they could get themselves back into this.
Jamie, uncharacteristically, do you find Stephen Taylor to be a slightly uncomfortable against the fuller length as opposed to the shorter length, which is, again, what the norm is in this format and this condition?
I don't think it's uncomfortable so much as driving is actually a strength of his. But because he's so good at driving, sometimes it can be his undoing. And he can sometimes hit the ball very powerfully straight to fielders, particularly at mid-off and mid-on. I know it's something he's been working very hard on in his game to make sure that he looks to bat long. And we've seen sometimes in the past, even in international cricket, where some of the smarter captains will attack a player's strength. For example, you go back to the 90s where Damien Martin was very strong through point and backward point, and Stephen Fleming, the New Zealand captain, put 2 or 3 players in that area and bowled short outside off to him. As we see Sohail again, 3 dot balls in a row, so building some pressure here. Sohaib, sorry, bowling well. But yes, sometimes that is a tactic where you can bowl to a player's strength, and I know Taylor knows that he's got a particular strength driving, probably anywhere in the arc from point through to mid-on, but it has been his undoing in the past, and he's looking to, I guess, just hold back his natural instincts a little bit. Having said that, he did smash his very first ball straight down the ground for 6, so he's not holding back too much.
A rather effective delivery to Stephen, a good length that he was only able to fetch it for a single, considering what he has done so far.
And this is a good over, very good over. Just 1 run scored, so they need to bowl in tandem. They need someone at the other end to do a similar job. Oh, interesting. Looking to advance down the track, fired it full into his pads, and Campbell's just let it hit him in the end. So the end of in the context of this match, absolutely fantastic over. Just 1 run conceded from Sohaib, and he's in the middle of a very good spell, 2 overs for just 7 runs. But like I say, he needs someone at this other end to bowl well in tandem with him, and it looks like once this committee meeting ends in the middle, I'm sure we will see a bowling change. Every man and his dog giving their opinion on the field setting.
I can tell you already, Jamie, is going to be Ziad. A slow right arm, extremely deceiving off spinner that has this finger spinners in his archive, and so that's what he seems to be.
So finally we see the slow bowlers. So I thought perhaps they could have come into the attack a couple of overs earlier. It will be interesting to see firstly how they go from a bowling perspective, and then also to see what the approach will be from Campbell and Taylor. Obviously they've been cruising against the quicks to date, and despite Sohaib bowling a fantastic over last over, conceding just the 1 run, there's no scoreboard pressure whatsoever for freedom fighters. They could afford to block out 2 or 3 maidens and still be in perfect condition. Run rate required being just 4.71 at this stage.
So Jamie, for the record, I haven't really been able to get away much against Ziad, but one day we were playing in our basement and I took him up above his head.
Incredible. I wish I'd been there to see that. And speaking of taking him over his head, First ball, he over pitches. Next time you guys are playing at home in the basement or wherever, please invite me over and I'll commentate. Be a pleasure. So another maximum for Stephen Taylor, and he is rapidly approaching his half century. In fact, he's just one big hit away, 45 off 19 now. This time he does make the ball land on the pitch, which is always a good thing for a bowler. Consequently, he doesn't get smashed for 6. This time nicely flighted, but Taylor's equal to the task. Drives well through the covers. Man in the sweeper position makes his way around to his left. Keeps the scoring to 2. That was well bowled though.
I have sympathies for spinners and slow bowlers on the AstroTurf against the actual turf.
That'll be 1 bounce 4. And that'll be 50 for Stephen Taylor. Well done to the US captain. Freedom Fighters' first game in the tournament. And the skipper comes up trumps. 51 off just 22 deliveries. I'll have to get the rest of the stats shortly, but I think he's hit at least 5 sixes that I can recall.
We had 50 off of 19 last game. 2 4s, 5 6. Second 50, exactly.
2 4s, 5 6s, in fact. Oh, and he goes for a big shot this time. Gets an inside edge. Luckily for him, it evades the woodwork. He gets another single.
Incredible innings up first, and authoritarian, and setting the tone right up first in terms of what he believes him and his team can do rest of the tournament.
Over pitching again. Campbell not quite able to get the timing that Taylor was able to get earlier in the over. And some good calling from Stephen Taylor as well. Again, another aspect of his game he's clearly been working hard on is running between the wickets and calling. So they finish the over with a couple of runs, and Ziyad, despite some good deliveries in the over, has conceded 15. And that run rate required is down below 4 now. And it's rapidly approaching, we need a minor miracle stage. And of course we would be remiss if we didn't thank the sponsors of the tournament. Liberty Medical Centre, Pepsi, Gatorade, which I believe are part of the same company anyway, but we'll mention them. Thanks for the hat as well, Gatorade. I'm probably one of very few people who actually needs a hat in the sun. You guys just get a tan, I get burnt. So thanks for the hat. And of course, Cricket Clubs for the scoring. And of course, thanks to the commentators for doing a fantastic job. Particularly Rick and the team, whilst I was swanning my way all over the US to try and get here. Interesting delivery down the leg side, signalled wide. Suggestions that it may have come off something. Stifled appeal. To me, it sounded like it may have flicked the pants or the pad on the way through, but the umpire is in the best position to make these calls, and he's adjudged that it touched nothing and therefore was worthy of being signalled wide. So another run to the total, another delivery that has to be bowled again. And again, Sahib continues to bowl well. He's got a good rhythm, landing it on a good line and length. He's not trying anything too special or too hard. He's bowling within himself and just landing it in good areas. I think, as you said earlier, Rick, it doesn't matter what the pitch is, what the field is. If you do the basics right as a bowler, you put it in the right spot, you're going to trouble even the best batsman in the world.
Absolutely. We have seen many fast players in the international arena that have completely taken the surface out of the equation by bowling fuller and Yorker lands, Shoaib Akhtar being one of them.
Short this time, but Campbell, who's been there for a while now, has got his eye in. And that came off somewhere near the middle of the bat. That has raced to the boundary at backward square leg. He moves on to 26 off 17. So he's going pretty well. He's been the silent partner really in this partnership. Stephen Taylor, who joined him at the fall of Babar's wicket, has raced past his 50. John Campbell, 26 off 17.
Yeah, I reckon a drastic change or a miracle from ARC to actually make a breakthrough at this point to get back into this game, because it does appear to be a walk in the park.
Yeah, you're right. This is where you need an adventurous captain to try something different. Perhaps bowl full outside off stump and stack the inner ring on the offside. Bring all your fielders in and try and create some pressure by bowling some dots. Just anything at this stage. Give it a go. I mean, you're on a hiding to nothing as they're just calling for a new ball. That ball has disappeared off into the bushes somewhere.
Absolutely nothing to lose at the current run rate of the opponent at 11.18 and the required run rate within the 4 and over.
So we can see the full scorecard there and the batting lineup for Freedom Fighters. And this is the problem that ARC face. If they get a couple of these wickets, there's still plenty of batting to come. You've got Nicholas Purin, the young West Indian, who has played some of the more destructive innings I've ever seen in T20 cricket, yet to bat. And of course, Elmore Hutchinson, a hero with the willow in recent times for the US team. Usually bats towards the end of the innings, but he's certainly no mug with the bat in hand, that's for sure. So hope to continue now. Wide down the leg side. Easy decision this time for the umpire.
Jamie, given the lack of aggression from the defending team in this total, given what we have seen recently in the international scene, ARC should not be giving up on what they have ahead of this game.
This time, well fielded at backward point, no run, but what was good fielding initially ends up costing a single as a shy at the stumps unnecessarily is not backed up. But yeah, absolutely agree with you, Rick. You never give up until the last run is scored. I'm sure all of us can tell stories of matches we've either watched on television or been a part of ourselves where one team was seemingly completely out of it and they pulled off a miracle. I'm sure at some stage during this tournament we'll see one of those, as this time perhaps off the pads of Taylor. We'll have to wait and see. It's gone away fine. In fact, it's been signalled byes, or just four in fact. Just saw the umpire's hand go up in the air, but I think he was just waving to the scorer. Scorers and umpires, of course, very friendly these days, always waving to each other. Makes it very confusing.
Even if it had not been, this was a wrong line to Stephen from Sohaib.
Yeah, he has struggled this over. He may be getting tired. He's coming towards the end of what has been a good spell. Well, certainly into his third over, and he's just started drifting into the pads a bit this over. We've already seen 2 leg side wides, and that one was easy runs. That's a much better line on or about off stump. Nothing Taylor could do with it except for defend.
Too often in the T20 format, the seamers in this latter part of the innings get in the rut of the bowling the wrong line and length and forgetting the traditional bowling into the off-stump channel, and that causes them.
Again, he finds the right line and length this time, but they will jog through for a well-taken single. And again, we're going to see overthrows, so what should have only been one at the absolute most is turned into two. But yeah, I think going back to what you were saying at the end of the over, 90 for one, Freedom Fighters. Going back to what you were saying, Rick, I think that's a result of T20 cricket over the last 4 years. We've seen batsmen who have worked out how to score runs and score big runs off what was traditionally a good line and length. It's now called a length delivery, and we know from watching T20 cricket from around the world, if you bowl length, batsmen are just going to plant you anywhere from straight back over their head to square leg, or if it's AB de Villiers, it could be anywhere around the ground, 360. So you're right, I think bowlers have become a little bit perhaps gun shy to bowl that traditional top of off stump line and length, because it can become a bit predictable, and batsmen who are, you know, high class batsmen know how to I guess destroy bowlers who bowl consistently at that line and length. But I still think, particularly at this level, which we're not, even though there's some fantastic world class players here, we're not talking about the IPL. It's a level just below, and even at IPL level, when you're facing 90 for one, like you were saying, go back to what you know. Top of off stump, get your fielders in the right positions, make sure your best fielders are in those zones where perhaps they're going to look to hit if they're going to attack you. It's, you know, it's a simple game, cricket, but we often make it a little bit too complicated. Having said that, I wouldn't want to be the captain of ARC right now. He's on a hiding to nothing. Oh, is there a man there? He manages to find the gap again. Does Taylor. In fact, it was John Campbell. Certainly didn't time it, but he's hit it well enough. And as has been the case throughout his entire innings, he's managed to find the gaps. So I guess that's a little indication of the man's class. He may not be timing it perfectly, but he's still quality enough to hit the gaps in the field. And again, similar area in the ground. This time Long On gets across, and we'll keep the scoring to 2. Bashir is the new bowler. Forgot to mention that while I was ranting on about something inconsequential. So it looks like he's just bowling little seam ups and little cutters.
Absolutely easier said than done in terms of defending champions. He has absolutely tried on different bowlers, but I feel he never had enough runs on the scoreboard for him to apply the pressure against a very reputable and a strong batting lineup of Freedom Fighters.
Chance taken. They tried their hardest to stuff that up, but they managed to take it in the end. Two fielders almost getting in each other's way. But Taylor's innings has finally come to an end at 59. Fantastic innings it was too. He's certainly done the job for his team. But perhaps the door has just slightly opened for ARC. Yeah. Are they good enough to walk through the door and take another 8 wickets? That is yet to be seen, but well done to the bowler. Bashir in his first over takes a wicket, and also to the fielder who took the catch. We've seen a couple of chances go down, so The fact that he took that catch in the end very comfortably is a credit to him. And it looks like Puran? Cheyenne, in fact.
Like you were saying, never say never, but given what they have yet to achieve in terms of the remaining overs and the fact that their new strike batsman comes on without the helmet, Jamie, it speaks to the volume of their comfort, feeling they're going to just have a walk in the park.
Yeah, they're certainly full of confidence at this stage. 2.65 runs required per over. They've got every right to be comfortable, and I think, Rick, perhaps you just reminded the batsman that he had walked out there without a helmet on, because as soon as he said it, he turned around and signalled to Fahad Baba to bring his helmet out. Probably wise. We have seen throughout the innings that there's a decent amount of bounce in this pitch. So the batsman would have crossed. Campbell will be on strike. Just 30 runs required from here. Some 8.4 overs remaining. Oh, that one got away from him. So he follows up the wicket ball with a waist-high full toss on leg stump, which has actually ended up stopping short of the boundary, but they come back for 3 in the end. So again, as I've mentioned numerous times, and he's called it no ball for above the waist. So the next ball will be a free hit. So the new man can swing for the fences.
Perhaps the third one so far this day hasn't really been taken advantage of.
It's basically the perfect way to start your innings, though. First ball you face is a free hit.
Right.
That's an absolute dream introduction to the crease.
Zero.
There's some quality banter coming from the back of the commentary box. Let me tell you. Slow ball, and he has waited for it and then just pumped it over the sight screen, back over the bowler's head. Nice way to get off the mark. So it wasn't a bad option from Bashir to bowl a real slow one. But Cheyenne was equal to the task. He just waited for it. Smoked it. So I'm being told from the hecklers at the back of the box that Cheyenne is in fact an ex-under-19 player for Pakistan. So clearly a player of some quality. Plenty of players of quality here today. And those of you who are watching this live stream, it's a bit of a treat to have cricket of this quality in the US, being played on a field of this quality, being broadcast with pictures of this quality, with commentary of this quality, with scoring of this quality. It's fantastic, and well done to all the organisers. And of course, again, we should mention the sponsors, Liberty Medical Group, Pepsi, Gatorade and Cricket Clubs for bringing us the live scores. And I'm being told that I must thank the incredible, the amazing Vijaya Malela, umpire extraordinaire. And Vijay, we're going to have to take that walkie-talkie off you, mate.
Amen to the commentary.
And of course, thanks to the other umpire, Mateen. Both doing a fantastic job out in the middle. But yeah, well done, Mir Ali. The inaugural Liberty Cup T20 from the BPL Cricket Stadium in Bolingbroke. What a fantastic event. And I'm sure it's only going to get bigger and better year in, year out. And it's an absolute pleasure to be a part of it. As we see another change of bowling. First up, Ziad changing ends. This time he does get bat on ball, but there's a man stationed in the deep at point. He'll just get the single. But correct me if I'm wrong, I think that first delivery of this over was the first time we saw a swing and a miss from any batsman in this innings.
Agreed.
Rick,
Ziad,
you
as I
are doing a
was
fantastic
mentioning-
job, by the way.
Thank you, Ziad.
Don't listen to these Muppets in the back of the box.
Haters, Muppets and puppets. They wouldn't have been able to do what I have been able to do all day today.
Absolutely.
You know who would talk the most?
Another good ball from Ziad. He's varying his pace well in this over. First one, he really pitched it up above the eye line. Campbell was beaten. Second one was a bit quicker, and this one was the in-between ball. What has he got for us this time? Again, flighted straight to the man at short mid-wicket. So a good over. Just 1 of 4 deliveries so far. This time he finds a gap. Again, he pitched it up, but it was a little bit too short and down the leg side. And Cheyenne has just helped it on its way over backward square leg. That's his second 6.
Cheyenne and John ensuring that the Freedom Fighters are nearly home. Only 11 needed from 10 overs and 1 delivery at the run rate of 1.08.
Yeah, it's a cakewalk from here. And I think I said at the outset that they'd probably look to chase it down pretty quickly to help their net run rate, and it looks like they're certainly going to do that. As this time just worked into the leg side for a single.
Given the strength that I had come to learn from just looking at the roster, Jamie, I did not certainly expect the game to be done nearly halfway the innings, which is what this is going to turn out to be.
As we have a look at the Freedom Fighters lineup here. Just a quick look at the scorecard. Of course, Fahad Baba was dismissed in the first over for 1. John Campbell remains not out on 38. Sensational innings from Stephen Taylor, which was ended a couple of overs ago, 59 off 28. And Cheyenne has come out and continued the good work of his skipper. He's on 15 off just 6 deliveries. And those who are yet to bat, Elmore, Nikita Miller, etc., they've still got plenty of firepower in the shed. They probably won't need them though. And a quick look at the bowling figures. 2 successful bowlers to date. Harris Imtiaz, 1 for 39 from 3, and Bashir, 1 for 19 from 1. So they may have been successful in terms of taking wickets, but they've taken some stick. And we see a bowling change. The opening bowler from the far end has come back.
Jimmy,
Bakshi.
what is surprising to me in terms of having been able to witness and play with Sohaib, when you're up against a quality batting lineup as such, him being the most economy bowler at 7 and over, that speaks volumes of the quality of the batting lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. In most games going at 7s, you'd feel like you've done a pretty good job, but you wouldn't have thought you'd be the best economy rate. But clearly he's been the pick of the bowlers, which makes me as we see another chance go down. Just a little half prod into the leg side. He's going to end up getting a couple of runs. In fact, he might get more if they don't back it up. He will. I could see that coming. So what in the end should have been a simple catch at mid-wicket has ended up being 3 runs to Cheyenne.
A little too much, a little too late, I reckon.
So chances going begging. But you're right about Sohaib. He's been the pick of the bowlers, which is why it surprises me that he's still got an over up his sleeve, and the game is probably going to end this over. Oh, he hasn't quite timed it. Is there a man there? No. Again, he finds the gap, and it's bounced just short of the boundary. So another boundary for John Campbell. He moves on to 42. And just 3 runs required now. So, yeah, Sohaib, pick of the bowlers. He's going to be left with an over up his sleeve, which seems a little bit strange.
Certainly.
But hey, what do I know? I'm just a commentator. Pulling, and this time catch is actually taken. And John Campbell's charmed innings. Charmed in that he's struggled for his timing for a lot of it. Finally, he's actually missed a gap and he's picked out the fielder. But to be fair, he's done a fantastic job. 42 off just 25 deliveries. And his team is all but over the line. And he's given, I guess, the opportunity for one of his teammates to come out and hit the winning runs.
Yep, the dreadful walk from him doesn't really speak to the situation because he's nearly done the job. They only need 3 off of 9 overs.
Well, I guess he's like any other batsman at any level of the game. No one likes to get out at any stage, especially when he's basically done all the hard work and just 3 runs away from walking off with a nice little tidy 40 not out. But he should be proud of his efforts. And out to the middle strides Nicholas Pooran, one of the hardest hitters of a cricket ball I have ever seen. And certainly someone who I'm sure will feature in maroon colours for the West Indies in the coming years. He's too good a player not to play international cricket just quietly. But another wicket for ARC, so well done. They've continued to fight right to the end. And Ahmed rewarded for plugging away. He takes his first wicket. He is 22 for 1 now.
I will. I've done that a few times.
Pooran looking to end it in style. And he has done that. That has absolutely disappeared over long on, and I guess that's one way to end a cricket game.
100%, one of the
cleanest it out of the park.
Strike that I have seen all day today, and it's rather surprising to me. Full credit to freedom fighters and the talent and the ability they had. However, Jamie, I did not expect this game to turn into a one-sided, given the fact that I know a lot of local players that have done extremely well and they're seasoned players.
Well, I guess they know now the level they need to play to compete in this tournament. They're still going to have another game at least to try and, I guess, get their campaign back on track. But they've been well and truly beaten here by freedom fighters. In the end, they've chased down the target of 127 they required. They finished 130 for 3 off just 10.5 overs. And that is certainly going to help their net run rate heading into the pointy end of the tournament, if it comes down to that. Of course, they could just win all their matches and take run rate out of it entirely. But good job by them, firstly in the field to restrict ARC to just 126 all out in the last over, and then to come out here and smash the target off in just 10.5 overs. Thanks in large part to Stephen Taylor and of course John Campbell, with some little cameos by Cheyenne and that last ridiculously huge 6 by Nicholas Pooran to finish things. Teams just congratulating each other. And there's the umpires who also did a fantastic job. Well done, gentlemen. Good job in the hot sun. So apparently some guy with a big mouth will be taking over the commentary in the next game.
The big mouth.
But as we have a look at the scorecard for the Freedom Fighters, we can see there that it's a pretty healthy looking scorecard apart from hometown hero Fahad Baba. He'd be a little bit disappointed to get out cheaply in the first over. But John Campbell, good innings from him, 42 from 26. Particularly impressive was his ability to hit the gaps. Stephen Taylor, classy half century for him. And there's the bowling figures, and it's not pretty reading in the main. All the bowlers going for plenty of runs, apart from Sahib, who surprisingly only bowled 3. None for 21 off his overs. Good spell from him. The wicket takers were Bashir and Harris Imtiaz. But if you have a look at those economy rates, they got blasted to all parts. And no surprise that Freedom Fighters have ended up on top. So first up, victory to the star-studded Freedom Fighters. ARC will have to go back to the drawing board and maybe come up with some new plans as to how they're going to be successful in their next match. And of course, this fantastic live stream has been brought to you by Liberty Medical Centre, Pepsi and Gatorade, and all of the scoring, the scorebug on the live stream and the live scorecards online have been courtesy of Cricket Clubs. I'm Jamie Lloyd. Rick, final thoughts before we head off for a break?
It's been an incredible day of cricket, incredible day of local talent being perceived as what they are actually worth. We will be back at 6 p.m. for Kings 11 versus Incredibles. Kings, who came on top against the combined 11 earlier in the day. It's been really good to have you on board, Jamie.
Thanks, Rick. In fact, I think we may be back at 8 p.m. So, yes.
Okay.
Bolingbrook v. The Incredibles will be coming to you live from 8 p.m. So make sure you jump back online on the device of your choosing at about 7:55 for the build-up. And yeah, the commentary team is going to be on fire. But they're going to be hard-pressed to beat what Rick's been doing all day. So big ups to him. Anyway, join us in a couple of hours. Go away, have some food, have some drink, have a rest. Cricket.